All right, so the topic that we decided to go for was the social media topic. And we're kind of all over the place on this one because there's so much that you can cover on this, but we got a couple big points. One of the big hindrances to organizations being involved in social media is this idea that you don't have control over your message anymore once it's out there. And for a lot of us, that can be very uncomfortable to know that you put out a blog or a tweet or any sort of thing, and it's out there. People can do whatever they want with it. They can resend it to other people, all that kind of stuff. And that can be very uncomfortable for us because we're used to controlling our message. We're not used to letting it out there. One of the other things is using social media as a tool to enhance what you're already doing, as opposed to it's one more thing on my list I have to do. So it's kind of a mindset change that if it's going to be successful, if you're going to do it well, you have to use it in such a way that's more natural to you. So for myself, those of you guys who know me, for the last 4 or 5 years or so, Facebook has actually been my database. So instead of getting this big database thing, Facebook is my database, and that worked for me because I had a really crappy database, and I didn't like it, and Facebook was that much better. So I've just kind of stuck with that. So it just replaced what I already had. I didn't add on something new. One cool thing, as you're trying to build community and develop relationships with people as an organization, Facebook added a feature about a month or two ago that you can now post on people's pages as your organization if you are an admin of the fan page. So that's just one cool way that you can interact as an organization with individuals in a way that wasn't available before. I would say that's a good thing to do if you're involved in social media. Social media makes it easier to keep in touch with people because they always update their Twitter and their Facebook, and that's generally always a current thing. So if you're trying to keep track of your recruits and donors and prayer partners, all that kind of stuff, social media actually ends up making that a lot easier because you can always get them through that. People trying to figure out, okay, well, on Facebook I don't want to see all these useless updates of things I don't care about, people's new babies or whatever. That's not my example, that was somebody else's. So you can create lists on Facebook of your recruitment contacts or different campuses, and you can actually sort it so that you only see updates from those people when you go to that list and that kind of stuff. LinkedIn is extremely useful if you're doing business as mission. LinkedIn is a professional social network, totally organized around the idea of professional business connections. So that's great for those of you who are doing business as mission types things. That could be a huge resource for you. And then we kind of ended with the whole blogs and Twitter and updating that stuff and creating compelling content because you're trying to build an audience with that, and it's actually a really hard thing to do. It's not just, hey, we put out a blog and, oh look, everybody's reading it. You actually have to put a lot of work into that, especially in creating compelling content, something that's going to be useful that people want to know, and you kind of gauge whether it's compelling by the interaction. Are people commenting? Are they liking it? On Facebook, that kind of stuff. And then take the time to use some of the tools like Hootsuite and others that are out there where you can schedule this stuff in advance. Our organization uses WordPress for our blog, so we can actually schedule our blog posts. So, I actually did one before I came up here because we had one posting yesterday, so I had to get it on Tuesday. I think I did it on Tuesday to post yesterday, but I wasn't going to be there yesterday. So, and then being consistent with those things. You're trying to build an audience, and you're not going to hold an audience's attention if you only do it once a month or every couple months, that kind of thing. So you do need to find a regular schedule and actually put that stuff out there regularly.